Hey, good morning, YouTube. It's your boy Lewis Bryan. It's Saturday morning. I'm back here with you for another video of my prison stories, life after the big house. First of all, I wanted to apologize. I went on Instagram and said that I uploaded another video the other day, which I did, but for some reason it said later on that it failed to download, and for some reason it didn't store the video, so I didn't get a chance until just now to sit down and make another one. This video is going to be about my first fight with the gang members when I was inside the United States Penitentiary, Lewisburg. These years was back from 2002 to 2005. Okay. And before I get into my video, I just want to address something real fast. You know, I watched one of the other homies this morning, his video is from Sunday, but I just now seen it, and that was Lockup 23 and 1 Death. You know, he was talking about, you know, this was who he is, and you know, the things that he's used to. I'm sorry, you know, and talking about the subscribers and you know the what always makes him feel comfortable, but. You know, I just want to say, talking about, you know, the subscribers and the prison channels and all that, like, look, I don't even know what I'm doing for real. Like, I'm just getting on here and I'm making these videos. Like, my last one, I only put one up so far. I got 35 views, and I don't even know if when I go in there and check it, if mine counts or not. So, you know, and I don't even know. I'm not looking forward to making $1 off this because, like I said, I don't know anything about this stuff, man. Like, for real. But I'm just getting on here spitting and letting you, you know, sharing some content that I think y'all might enjoy or, you know, may enlighten you or, you know, whatever. But if you like it and subscribe to it, you know, I greatly appreciate it. If you don't, you know, I still, blessings be upon you. You know, I don't. You know, it really don't matter to me either way, you know, but Death, man, you know, like, for real, bro, you, even though I know I'm older than you, age ain't got nothing to do with it, you one of the OGs of this prison story channels, man, like, for real, man, I look up to you, you know, you're one of the ones who inspired me to get on here and start telling my, you know, story. So keep what you do, bro. May God bless you and your beautiful family, man. Stay out. You know, man, you're doing a good thing, bro, for real. But I just want to say, okay, my first fight with a gang inside of prison was in Lewisburg Federal Penitentiary. And that gang was called the Dirty White Boys. Now, the Dirty White Boys, and it's exactly what they are, you know, it fits them perfectly, you know, but, so I was in Lewisburg. As I said in my other video, I did 39 months in the SHU, in the Special Housing Unit lockup. I was already in the Special Housing Unit. They got there in about October of 2002. The whole crew got shipped. They got into it where they was at. They came from the United States Penitentiary, Leavenworth. Okay, so I'm inside the Special Housing Unit, and they all came down there, you know, and one day I was up on my cell door, I was talking to somebody about something. One of them, you know, tried to make a little wisecrack joke. We were actually talking about coffee. I was asking one of my DC homies about some coffee, and one of these guys gets on the door and is like, why don't you write Juan Velez in Colombia who have all the coffee you need? So at that time, I knew who he was. I knew what he was, you know. I'm not tripping about what he was, you know. But I didn't say nothing, you know. Even though I felt my pride, man, it felt like I had to. I didn't say nothing at the time. I let it slide. So the next morning, he has the nerve to ask me for something, you know. Long story short, I told him that he needed a light for a cigarette. Long story short, I told him, why don't you rub 2 sticks together, you know. So I guess he got kind of in his feelings about that. So he slides me what's called a kite in prison, which is a little note. He writes me a kite talking about, you know, hey, I'm dirty. He had to put in there, I'm dirty white boy Rick and this and that. And I'm like, all right. So I go ahead and write him a kite back. And at the same time, since I seen he's trying to throw out his, gang on top shit like it's supposed to put, like that's supposed to put some shit in concrete or put some fear into me, I write him a kite back. See, we already knew these dudes what had happened with them up Leavenworth. Like, word travels fast through the federal system. So we already knew what had happened to him when I first got to Lewisburg back in like April of 2002, because as in my first video I told you about, the basketball game that I seen on TV, how I remember the specific date that I showed up there with Juan Dixon and Duke and them winning, Maryland winning a championship. So I write him a kite back, since he wanted to flex that little dirty white boy stuff. I asked him, I'm like, oh yeah, didn't y'all get run off the yard up there by the Arm? Which the Arm is there in resistance movement, another white nationalist or supremacist group. Well, dirty white boys ain't actually a supremacist. They, or they're not in the category of, a racial group, but they some fucking slime bags for real too though. But anyway, so once I say some shit like that, I know there ain't no going back, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's on now. I done, pulled this card, I pretty much called them like some check-ins. You got ran off, So we end up having words and stuff, And I told him, I just like, man, like, look, let's not get on this door, do all this, door warring shit, and you know what I'm saying? If one of you trying to see me, which, I don't know why I asked like one of y'all, I already should have known what it's going to be. I said, if one of y'all want to see me, man, we just hit the rec cages tomorrow at rec, So we get out there, we sign up for rec in the morning, we go out there and stuff, and I don't know how it happened because I was on my door watching. I don't know how, but by the time I got to the rec cage, it was already 5 guys in there, and it was all of them. There was like 5 of them on my range, and goddamn if all of them ain't getting that same rec cage. And, but they only put 4 or 5 guys to a rec cage, so the officer's taking me to the next rec cage, and the one, he slides up on the door. He's the shot caller for him. He was from Fontana, California, Billy Weston. I'll never forget that bitch. But he slid up on the door. And it's like my nickname when I was in the joint, we all had nicknames, was Casper. He's like, Casper, ain't you coming in here? And I'm like, the officer was already putting the key in the next cage. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. Go ahead, man. It's 4 in there, man. I'll be right next to y'all. We can kick it, downplaying, So officer leaves, we had the words, and I'm like, come on, bro. I'm like, for real. I said, man, it takes 5 of y'all to come out here for one of me, it's, we had to, but there ain't no reason with that. Like, they ain't gonna play fair. So, I expect that. But, so we never got at each other that day. They go out to the compound. Like I said, I'm back here in the shoe I gotta do a year to 18-month clear conduct. And the way I'm acting that time, good luck with that. I'm gonna be back there in a minute. So I lay in wait. It took about 9 months. In like June or July of 2003, one of them finally comes back by itself, because they come back to the shoe a couple more times, but there was always like 2 or 3 of them together. So, but I finally caught one of them by itself in June of 2003, June or July 2003. So, they go up onto the administrative range first when they're pending the hearing. And then once they get their found guilty for their infraction, they get moved down to what's called the DS range, disciplinary segregation range. So he come on down there. He's a couple cells up. Well, he's actually like 6 cells down from me at the top of the range. I'm near the back. But we go ahead, we slide a kite, intermediate, that's across from us, because he's on the same side as me. We have him shoot the kite like, hey, you know what it is in the morning, bro. Come on out. Let's get this shit over with. So he's like, all right, he has to, like, being a gang member, he has to. If I'm calling him out, he has to go out there, So we go on out there, and, just by chance, my sink gets fixed that day, and they put a metal rod in my sink that it was missing. We had a makeshift paper rod. Well, for some reason, when they put it in there, they didn't put the pin in right in the pipe well, and the pipe and the rod slid out soon as they left. So now I got like a 10-inch rod with a big ass brass knob on the end of it that, you know, I go ahead and I get it on out there with me. I make me a little string on my waist with a little loop, because when they put the handcuffs on, sure, they metal detect you with the wand you down, but I got that shit right where I know the handcuffs are going to be, because they go around it. So I go ahead and get it on out there with me, and we go in the rec cage. There's only 4 of us in the rec cage. The only one other dude in the rec cage that was in there knew what was getting ready to happen. So we get out there, you know. We wait for the officers to get back in and stuff, and the dude tries to rush me before the last officer's all the way clear back into the building. We get the fighting, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting the best of him and shit. I'm dogging. He's an older dude too, man. He's like 40 something. I'm like 27, 28. You know, he's hoping that I stop when they scream. Now there's 30 staff show up to this scene. And ain't none of them coming in because they seen this big ass banger on my back, because my shirt got ripped off. He tried to hold on my shirt and I ripped right up out of that shit. And they seen that, they wouldn't come in there. I never pulled it out because I was handling dudes like, I'm not going to do something unnecessary if if I can handle you with my hands. Plus, I didn't know if he was going to have something. That's, you know, so I'd rather show up with something than nothing and him pull out a 12-inch knife and get the stabbing the shit out of my ass. So I'd rather just be safe than sorry. So, but I believe in old school. Like, I'm going to come at you with my hands first. But everybody don't play that way. But so we get out there, we get to wreck and fight, you know, police won't come in. Finally, you know, it gets to the point where it's just like, I know he's done. You know, I go ahead, I slide the shit out through the cage, throw out. That's when they rush in, they grab us, they handcuff us up. We get out there. I go, you know, they take us in and, you know, everything gets done. And they ask us about the fight. And I tell them, I don't know. You know, so he sticks to the same story, you know. But the thing in the federal system is, if I get into a fight with you, or, you know, and if you're a gang member or if you're a group, you automatically, even if it's one person and they're by themselves, you get put on what's called separation. So now I'm on separation with him, and knowing that he's a known gang member, I'm on separation with the whole gang that's inside the facility. So, you know, months go by, you know, and believe it or not, after I handle this situation, you know, with them being in the shoe as much as they are, like, now we have a common respect for each other. Like, you know, we still deal with each other. Like, if there's something you need, something I need, I got something for sale or whatever, tobacco, coffee, you know, the things that are coming to the shoe that we can't have, that we get sent in or smuggled in, man, we looked out for each other. Like, there wasn't no more problem for us. So when we do these type things, you know, like I said, we're on separation now. But you always got to worry about the dudes who are the flunkies, the nut huggers, the ones who are trying to make an impression on these guys. And I know there's guys like that, but usually I know who they are. You know, some months down the road, there was this one kid. I ended up getting put in the shower with him, and I knew he was going to try to make a move, but I knew the kid was so weak and shit, you know. He got me when I was handcuffed. After I put the handcuffs on, he tried to take off on me, you know. I got my head split on the corner of the wall. He didn't do nothing to me because I kept my back to him the whole time, because I had a feeling what he was going to do. And I kept my chin tucked. But what ended up happening is we was in shower shoes. We was in the shower, my foot slipped, and I cracked my head on the side of the tile wall. I didn't even know what happened when it happened. I didn't know, like, they didn't even know what happened. The police are standing right there. All I see is all blood just splashing off the floor, spilling from my head. All I know is I'm opened up somewhere. I didn't know what it was. But yeah, the kid got me, you know, and, you know, I pretty much expected something like that in retaliation, you know, for doing what I did. But yeah, but, you know, once we moved on from all that and moved down the road, you know, after I left that institution, that shit was pretty much dead, you know. the next institution I went to, they weren't allowed to be on the yard. Like, if they got off the bus at receiving, nope, you can't go out there, because not only every white group wants a hold of their ass, so does a lot of other ethnic racial groups, such as, the Mexicans and blacks. They want them. Like, when I got the United States Penitentiary Allenwood in 2005, two groups that couldn't walk the yard was Aryan Brotherhood, which they're not going to walk no yard anyways anywhere. Not the original real ones. They're in ADX Florence, Colorado. Like, a lot of them ain't never. Of course, you have the prospects and the new generation of them, but I wouldn't consider them, to be the real AB. But, I ain't nobody to say if they are or they ain't. But, so that situation was pretty much over. But, like I said, and going back to my original, things that I said, like, my channel's gonna be about, these type stories, but also, we gonna get into some other things. My other video, I had 35 views, no subscribers and 1 like I said, if I don't get nothing, I know this is a time process, but I promise you, my shit's gonna get very, very intriguing. You're gonna like, my story. So please, like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. I'm not in this shit for no money, saying popularity, I'm just out here, telling my stories, and but I'm also gonna give you some enlightenment, some things that let you know what I did, to know where I stand now, and how I went from being a dumbass young dude in the federal system, who just thought I kept having things to prove until the one day that I woke up and got tired of that shit. Just like, man, I'm tired of, like, these dudes. I felt like a puppet on a string. Like, motherfucker said something to me. It's like, they're the ones who are controlling me. If you're letting people control you, and they know all they gotta do is say one thing to rattle your cage, and you're gonna buck. You know what I'm saying? They're controlling you. That's mind control. And I just got tired of that shit. Like, man, motherfuckers already know what I'm gonna do, man. Like, I woke up one day and I was just like, it took a minute for me to just be like, yeah, you got that. And a lot of it was the police. Like, I took a lot of ass whoopings by the police, drugged down 3 flights of stairs in handcuffs, strapped to a bed for 3 to 5 days in Lewisburg. When you go to 4 points in there or ambulatory restraints, man, they're leaving you for days. There ain't no couple hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. They're leaving your ass for days. There's a lot of lawsuits coming out of the United States Penitentiary, Lewisburg. Even to this day, it's a special management unit now. It's no longer operational as a regular penitentiary. It's all for, like, management problems, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, like I said, if you're gonna think you like my videos, please like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all, man. Much love and peace, and I'll see you next time.